Okay, sorry about the noise, but it is cold out. Probably like 20 degrees, wind chill, 10 degrees. It's cold. So that's going to be on for a little while. We're going to get back on this 4-horse and take the carburetor off, clean that. We're going to take the shroud and flywheel off and check the points out. And let's see if we can get this started today. I think it will go. It's got compression. Pretty neat little engine. So, okay guys, I'm going to start ripping this carburetor off. Okay, got it all apart. Turned off the heat for a minute. I got the carburetor off anyway in the gas tank. Haven't took the flywheel off yet. I poured the old gas in this tub, which is pretty nasty gas, but I'm going to take it and clean off the gas tank with it. And I'll take a brush, clean it up. So I'm going to get on that, get that all cleaned up. I'm going to clean the block all up. And then get into the points, and I'm going to take the carburetor apart, let that soak for a little while. I do have another carburetor if I need it. And yeah, if this thing runs, I might repaint it. Everything's orange on it, so all I have to do is tape up my stickers and give it a coat of paint altogether. And I think somewhere two cans of Chevrolet orange engine paint. But this is going to be Briggs & Stratton orange spray paint when I'm ready. So, okay, I'm going to keep cleaning. I'm going to turn the heat back on. Keep it nice and warm in here. Just trying to get this cleaned up a little bit.
determined I would rise above the shame. But no matter where I travel, the black mark follows me. I'm drenched with a number on my name. I'd like to hold my head up and be proud of who I am, but they won't let my secrets go untold. I paid the debt I owed them, but they're still not satisfied. Now I'm a branded out of gold. If I knew that you never did, got to tell them where I've been, or they'll send me back to prison.
Okay, so I got the block all cleaned up. Come out pretty good. I like to clean all my stuff up good, and that way you ain't fighting the grease. Even with a customer, something that I'm working on for a customer, it always looks nicer if you clean it up. You know, if you're gonna just leave the grease and grime on there, repair it, send it back, to me, that's an unfinished job. I like to clean my stuff up, make it look good, so when they come and pick it up, they say, "Oh wow, it looks brand new." So that's just a little tip for small engine repair guys. If you do work for other people, take an extra 5 minutes and clean it all up. It's worth it in the long run. So I got the carburetor all cleaned up, and I took most of the paint off it. I hate when people paint carburetors because the paint never stays on them. So I rather just leave them the aluminum color. So I got most of it off. There's a little bit still on the linkage, and a little bit on that choke that I got to get off, and I got to get the. So I cleaned it all up. You know, I took all the gaskets, diaphragms, everything out, blew everything out with air hose and carburetor cleaner, and I like to take my little torch tip cleaner and clean out all the, all the jets like in here and whatever. Your high-speed needle. Make sure that's all cleaned out. And I got all brand new gaskets. I got a new intake gasket, I got a new diaphragm, and I got a new gasket between the tank and the carburetor. So yeah, the carburetor wasn't that bad. It wasn't all gummed up. It's just a little shellac old gas. So I'm going to get the carburetor back together. And see, I'm not sure if I'm going to paint this or not. And if I am, I should probably paint the tank first before I put the carburetor on, so I don't paint the carburetor. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna yet or not. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm also gonna clean out the gas tank, and what I do there is I drained all the gas out and take a rag and shove it in the tank with a screwdriver. Careful putting it in there. Make sure it's all rag you don't want anymore. I take a screwdriver and I just push the I have to get a longer one. Just take the rag and just move it all around on the bottom of the tank. Tilt the tank down like I did, so whatever's in there will go to the bottom, and you can soak up all the nastiness. So just gonna leave that rag in there and let that soak in there a little bit. And we're gonna get this carburetor together. It's pretty simple. I don't do step by step because videos get too long. But you know, if you worked on these before, and there's a million videos out there, pretty much whatever way you take it apart, put it back together the same way. You want to make sure you got the spring in there with a little cap on the top, and then the diaphragm goes on like so. Only goes on one way. And then you put your cover on. You put your 3 screws in there, tighten it up. Well, let me just set the camera up. I might as well keep going on this. Take your 3 screws, 4 screws, not 3. Like I said before, make sure you run your carburetor cleaner and your torch strip cleaner through every single passageway through the carburetor and make sure everything is clear. I like to tighten these in a cross hatch is what they say. So I usually snug these 2 up first and snug that one and then that one, and then just keep going back and forth like that until you get them, you know, nice. They don't have to be tight. You just don't want them vibrating loose. Don't put no Loctite on them. I've seen people do that and it makes it worse for people like me to get them back out. And if they do put Loctite on, I just take a little torch, one of those little, you know, B-tank torches, and just warm it up a little bit. And even sometimes a heat gun will work to get those out, just to loosen up the Loctite. So we got that done. Then we're going to put our jet back in. You want to make sure that's nice and tight. And then put your needle valve back in. You put your washer on. The only thing I didn't have is a new one of these. I know I got them somewhere. Just couldn't find them. I'm still digging through my dad's stuff. So that one's work. That one will be okay. It's actually a metal one. It's not a paper one. And then after I do that, I usually turn it all the way in. And I bring it out 1.5 turns to get started. And that's pretty much it. You know, you want to make sure all this is clean. When I'm ready to put it on the gas tank, get it the right way. I'm looking at the camera and not paying attention to what I'm doing. That goes like so. Then you bolt it on the tank. Hook it all back up. So. Okay guys, I'm going to keep going on it. I'm going to take this flywheel off and check the points out. Okay, so let's get this flywheel off. So I mounted it up in the vise to hold it. First thing you want to do is take these 2 screws out to get the screen off. Some of them have 4, this one has 2. So take those out. And I don't know if you can see, but one of these fins on the flywheel right here is broken. So once you get the screen off, I always put the screws back in because that will hold this cap on right here from coming off. And if it comes off, then all your ball bearings fall out, and not a big deal, but just saves a step. Okay, so there's a couple of different ways you can get that off. I actually have the tools to do it. I have a flywheel holder, which I usually put here and then let it come up on a vise like so. And I got a clutch remover tool right here. But if you don't have this stuff, what you could do is you could put a screwdriver in here to hold it. And then you could take a hammer and a punch or a chisel, but not a real sharp chisel. You can put it right here and then give it a couple of taps. Pat, 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 and loosen that up. But I have the right tool, so that's what I use. Put clutch tool on there. Got the flywheel holder on there. That's all it takes. Take that off. Make sure this turns free. You can pop the cover off, clean it out, make sure it's good. But this one seems pretty good. Once you get that off in your washer, you got to get your flywheel off. You can use a puller. That will work. What I like to do is I usually put a screwdriver behind the flywheel, and I got another tool that slides on the shaft. So you smack it with a hammer and it don't peen the shaft. Other way you can do it, you can put a screwdriver behind it, pry it out, give a couple taps on the side of the flywheel. Just be careful you don't hit the fins, and it will pop off that way. You just don't want to bang on the crankshaft because you will peen that over, and you won't be able to get the clutch back on. And if that happens, and if you do that, it's not a big deal. Take your little grinder and just round the end back over, or a file, whatever. I actually had a guy do it so bad where I just took and cut the end of the crankshaft off like less than 1/8 of an inch, maybe like a 1/16. Just took that burr off and then slid that on. You can find these tools online that I got. Okay, what did I do with my flywheel? Okay, I put my crankshaft tool down, and not sure where I put it. I'll turn the camera off, find it. Okay, I found it. Right where I left it. Take the tool, slide on your crank. Take your screwdriver, put it behind the flywheel. Just make sure you don't pinch any of the wires or bend the points cover. The hammer, give it a nice, good, solid smack like that. You can tell it didn't hurt the crank at all. That you can pull the flywheel off. Grab your keyway, check that out. Looks good. Next thing I'm going to do is take that points cover off. I'm just going to wipe all the grime off, clean off where I couldn't get when the flywheel was on there. And we're going to take the cover off. Well, the points look nice. Not that old at all. I mean, I have new points, but these things look like they're brand new. Okay. Spark plug out. Get my point file. Make sure your points are closed. Put the point file in between there. You can use a piece of sandpaper also. And then you just want to, clean them up. Kind of got to hold these points. I'm sure they just got some crap on it from sitting a little corroded. And you want to make sure you do it nice and slow and try to keep it flat. You don't want to have it up or down. Just keep it flat. Work it back and forth. Some people use nail files like what women use on their nails. They work too. But I don't think it's going to take much with this. Okay, once you do that, I take a little carburetor cleaner and I just open the points up, clean them up, take a little air, dry them. While you have this all out, you want to check your seal, make sure that looks good. Spin your engine, make sure your plunger works on your crankshaft, open and shut the points. We'll check the gap, it looks pretty good. This is my father's feeler gauge, and this is the one he used for points, 20,000s, and he bent it so you can get in there at a nice angle to check it. Perfect. Okay. Throw the flywheel back on and let's see if we have any spark. Sometimes you don't have to bolt it all back on. Slide the flywheel on. Throw your keyway back in. And take the spark plug. Hopefully this is a good one. Yeah. Hold it on that coil like that. Get a good ground and you can just go by. There you go, see it? Just go back and forth on the magnet. I don't know if you can see it, but it's firing good. And that's all you have to do. Just rock it back and forth. Open and shut them points just like that. That way you don't have to put it all back together. See if I can get the camera closer for you guys. Wait a minute. I seen a trick that Zippo did with a magnet. Let's see if I got one. It's aluminum, so maybe not. Aluminum block. It would work good on a cast iron block. Let's see if I can stick it. I don't have the right magnet for that. Oh, there you go. Maybe that'll work. Yep. You see it? Anyway, it does got spark. Hopefully you can see it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back together. I'm not gonna paint it now. I'm just gonna let it be because I don't know what I'm gonna put it on. If I put it on a mini bike or a go-kart or whatever I need it for, I'll paint it to whatever the scheme of whatever I put it on is, if that makes sense. So, okay guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get this together. Okay, have it back together. Got some fresh gas in it. Haven't tried to start it yet, so let's try it. Got some choke. Spark plugs in there. Okay. Didn't give it no starting fluid, nothing. So let's see what happens. Not so good yet. Oh, there we go. Choke came off. Give it some throttle. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Didn't hook up the governor spring. Hold on, let me get that hooked up. Okay, let's try again. Got the governor spring hooked up now. There you go. That thing runs sweet. No smoke. I'm going to run it again for a little while, and then I'm going to dump the oil and put fresh oil in it. Still got to put a new spark plug in it and a new air filter. Yeah, that baby's ready. Now I just got to find something to put it on. See if it will restart. Okay guys, that's it for the Briggs & Stratton 4 horsepower. We got the 7 over here. Still got to clean the carburetor and stuff on that. I'll do that next. But pretty happy how the 4 turned out. And like I said before, I'll paint it when I figure out what I'm going to put it on. And if worst comes to worst, I can take the tank back off, or I have taped up the carburetors and with some masking tape and did it that way. So gotta figure out what year it is. I don't see the numbers in it. Usually stamped in here. It doesn't say on the sticker. So and it's not stamped in the shroud like they usually are. So probably right in here where it's all chewed up. But anyway, thanks guys for watching my videos. that's it for the 4 horsepower until I get it all back together and figure out what I'm going to put it on. And if you like my videos, please hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe, tell your friends, share my videos. If you don't like my video, hit the thumbs down. Just leave me a comment. Tell me why you don't like my videos. Okay guys, that's it. Boneyard out.